times the size of the Manhattan Project. I'm being conservative from the intel I have. Space program. I mean, it's just huge. And see, it's a breakaway civilization. They feed us what they want. They put in the water what they want. They give us the media. They tell us Obamacare is free. They tell us GMO isn't bad for us. In every study, it's killing the animals or deforming them. I mean, it's just unbelievable. There's no bad side effects from vaccines. And then it's just a laundry list. It says on the insert it can kill you, give you diabetes, eat your pancreas. You can read the insert. See, if I can't get people to read the insert, how will I get them to admit the other stuff, like in guinea pig studies of BT corn or these GMO potatoes? Joining us is Vani Hari. We're selling her book, so you support her, support yourself, and support InfoWars when you buy it from InfoWarsStore.com. Break free from the hidden toxins in your food and lose weight, look years younger, and get healthy in just 21 days. I, for my 41st birthday, giving myself this book, and I'm going to try to read it over the next week, and I'm going to try to put quite a bit of this into action, because I've already gotten a lot healthier. I want to go the rest of the way. And her testimony and what she's done is really amazing. She's a go-getter, but also look what she's done with activist help. All over the news, they're announcing what the media and food industry won't tell you. That's one headline. I saw one, the food babe, enemy of chemicals, the Atlantic. I saw another one about, all the amazing things she's doing. I've been seeing all these headlines about the big victories she's been having across the board. General Mills just announced they're pulling a bunch of chemicals. So she takes action. She tells the public. It's a smart, good-looking, well-spoken woman, showing them the documents. People are listening. They're reacting. And these companies are removing it. So we've reached a tipping point, and she's one focal point in that larger war for health, transparency, and choice. So, Vani Hari, thank you so much. And, again, congratulations on another human success story taking action for justice.
Thank you so much for having me here, Alex, and happy early or late birthday. When's your birthday?
It's my birthday today, so I was just, yeah.
Okay. Oh, my gosh. Happy birthday. I'm so honored to be on your birthday
Oh, you're
show.
so sweet.
Awesome. That is so awesome.
Well,
so,
listen, where do you want to go first? All these latest victories that we've been having, and then the book?
Yeah, I think it's important. Let's talk about what happened last week. I was absolutely stunned to find out what happened, and it happened so quickly. You know, about a month ago, I started reaching out to General Mills and Kellogg's and asking them about an ingredient they use in their cereals here in the United States, but not in other countries. And that ingredient is called BHT, otherwise known as butylated hydroxytoluene, and it's labeled BHT on the label of different cereals. It's added to the packaging, and its purpose is actually to leach into the food, to preserve the food longer so it can stay on shelves up to 18 months at your grocery store. Now, this is a chemical that's been invented just for the food industry to make things preserve longer. They don't add really a health benefit to consumers. And actually, the studies show that this chemical is linked to cancer in animal studies and can be an endocrine disruptor. And this is not me saying this. This is scientists that the Environmental Working Group, other medical professionals that have reviewed these studies and data. And the UK actually does not permit this to be in cereals, probably because millions of children are eating cereal for breakfast. And this is not a chemical we want our kids to be eating. So I started reaching out to General Mills and Kellogg's earlier this year to say, hey, you know, I really want to see a change here. I want to see that this chemical be removed. I was asking them, why do you use this chemical in American cereals and not in your UK cereals? And these are the exact same cereals that are being sold, Alex. This is a box of Rice Krispies with BHT here in the United States and a box of Rice Krispies without it in Europe. How is that fair? How is that ethical? It is completely immoral that these companies are allowed to make their products safer for other citizens, and they don't have the moral and ethical obligation to do the same here in the United States. And so when I asked them these questions, they wrote me back a standard reply and said, BHT is safe. It is, you know, it actually has some controversial chemicals. Excuse me. I just need a sip of water here.
Well, while you're getting that sip of water, expanding on this, these are petrochemicals. and they're grandfathered in, thousands of them that are sprinkled through processed foods. And quite frankly, we know what's going on. A lot of poisonous chemicals are highly addictive. They also stimulate people to want to even eat more. And that's why they don't want to pull them out, because we're all in a giant petri dish. That's why they don't want to take, I mean, I've seen the cases where they're trying to change the name of aspartame, where they're trying to change the name to confuse people of MSG, where they're trying to change all these different names of mercury in the vaccines to confuse the public. So if they can't keep us, you know, from not reading the labels, they're just going to change the name. I mean, a great example of that is what? They're now going to change the name of high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, that is really scary that they're just going to take off the high fructose and just, you know, use a different name for it. And I tell you, you know, these food manufacturers are really are going to be held accountable now. The public is waking up. And I tell you, because I received such a misleading message from General Mills and Kellogg's when I reached out to them, you know, I wanted to start a petition. So I launched a petition last Thursday on my blog, foodbabe.com/cereal, to really require these food manufacturers to you know, finally remove this chemical for Americans. And I tell you, hours afterwards, it was so amazing. After thousands of Facebook posts, thousands of phone calls, thousands of signatures, over 17,000 signatures or something like that in the first few hours, General Mills started tweeting to random people, not me. They won't talk to me, Alex. You know, I try to reach out to these companies ahead of time to ask them questions. I mean, I wish they would really like own up and just like engage with consumers, especially me and who's, you know, really leading this army of people out there that's really changing the food industry. And they wouldn't talk to me. So they started tweeting other people saying, you know what, we're going to change it. We've already been in progress to change it, which I thought was really funny, Alex, because this is a standard PR line so that they don't take responsibility for the safety of this chemical, because if they did, they would have some serious legal challenges. I'm telling you, if they admitted that there is a controversy around this chemical, they would be in big, big trouble.
Well, it's simple. Humans aren't supposed to eat processed petrochemicals.
That's right.
I mean, these come out of oil refineries as distillates, as junk that they'd have to process and get rid of. Instead, it gets pumped into the food industry, just like the aluminum industry and the phosphate industry can't use the fluoride, so they get cities to pay to put the fluoride in the water. I mean, it's simply amazing what a scam they've set up. But the good news is, like dominoes, every time you inspire people to sign your petitions and contact these companies, they change, which is a testament to when the public takes action, they get results.
They really do. And it was so amazing, because really taking these two giant cereal manufacturers and asking them to do this. I know if one said they're going to do it, the other one has to, in a way, to even survive. And so Kellogg's a few hours later said, okay, we're going to put a team in place to look for natural alternatives. Here's the question I want to ask. Let's just logically use our brains here and use some common sense. If they're already doing this for their cereals overseas, what team needs to be in place to make this change? Can't they just email their colleagues, like send them a basic email, hey, how do you do this, and implement it? It's absolutely ludicrous that even today, millions of children are still eating this BHT chemical. It needs to be out of our food, it needs to be out of our cereals, and we need to demand a timeline from General Mills and Kellogg. So if you're listening to this broadcast, call them at their corporate headquarters, ask them for a timeline. This needs to stop.
And let's expand, though, on the establishment striking back. NPR, that's National Petroleum Radio, fake liberal radio in my experience, pro-war fake liberal system, has come out and says, is the food babe a fearmonger? Scientists are speaking. So Europe and everybody else has this banned, and you're just simply saying, list your ingredients, take the stuff out, take the silly putty ingredients out of your chicken McNuggets, McDonald's, and they're freaking out, acting like you're a 10-headed monster, that you would dare do this, but they're really scared that you're having success.
Oh, very, very scared. And it's so interesting. That article was very one-sided, interviewed the most vocal scientists against me. I mean, these are people, if you go to their Facebook pages and you go to their sites and go to their blogs, every other article sometimes is about me. Why are these people spending so much time writing about me versus trying to help
Because
people?
they're PR flacks for the chemical companies.
Well, you know, I don't know exactly all of the industry ties, but I do know this, is that I'm a regular everyday person trying to change the food industry and with other.
No, you're a bad person. We should have growth hormone in the milk. And cigarettes are good for you, too. And the doctors told us back in the 60s they were good for us. I think you're a conspiracy theorist about that. And I think it's wrong to even, you know, want to know if chemicals are in the food. How dare you?
They want to make us feel stupid by saying that you have to be a scientist or nutritionist to know how to eat. My new book, The Food Babe Way, teaches you how you can become your own nutritionist.
Really? I just know if I eat GMO, I don't feel good. I mean, if I eat aspartame, I get a headache, or MSG. I mean, I don't need to be a rocket scientist to know I'm allergic to honeybees because I swell up if I get stung by one. Same thing with MSG. I get a horrible headache for 2 days if I eat it. So I've been staying away from it my whole life. I learned not to eat Doritos when I was a kid because they gave me a headache. Does that make me a bad person?
No, it doesn't, Alex. You're smart. But like, really, we have to start paying attention to what's in our food. And I want to give people the habits on how to live this lifestyle. You know, it's hard to live in this overprocessed world. We're always so busy, going so fast in our lives, and we don't have time to check all the ingredients and do all this legwork and homework. And that's why I want to do it for you.
And here comes a troublemaker like you, having great success, getting major beer companies to list what additives they have and getting them to remove them. How dare you want people to have pure, healthy beer? How dare you? How dare you try to get GMO labeling so people can make their own choices? You are a monster. No one should order your book at InfoWarsStore.com or Amazon or wherever else, The Food Babe. Why don't you tell us about The Food Babe Way, just absolute monstrosity of evil? How do folks get this evil book?
That's what they're saying on Amazon in their 1-star reviews. It's really funny. So if you do read this book and you have your hands on it and you get it from either the InfoWars store or somewhere else, please take the time and read and leave an honest review on this book, because this is the book the food industry does not want you to read. Because you know what? I blow the lid off of major restaurant chains. One of my favorite chapters that I wrote was actually about what's in Olive Garden's endless pasta, breadsticks, and salad. What's in the salad dressing ingredients? I couldn't even believe it. This is in this book. This is research. I went undercover. I found out this information so you can protect yourself and your family, and you can find out what to eat at these places if you find yourself there, and how to eat at any restaurant in America, whether it's a Thai restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, Italian restaurant, or a Japanese restaurant. Just finding the right things to eat in each place with the least amount of toxic load and the least amount of food additives within those substances. And so it's a practical guide. It is a 21-day plan, 21 habits that I taught myself on how to live this lifestyle. I didn't always look like this. I never actually felt like this for a very long part of my life. I was walking around like a zombie, and it wasn't until I started putting these principles into place and habits that allowed me to live this way, live a way where I didn't have to always be on a diet, that I could maintain my ideal weight, that I could actually go and enjoy foods that I love in the right way. And I tell you, it's not about being on a diet. There's a whole section in this book that talks about popular diets: the paleo, the vegan, the vegetarian, the low fat, the low calorie, the gluten-free. And I show you, if you don't follow these principles, you will have pitfalls if you are on one of those diets. And I show you exactly what to look out for, where you can be exposed to some of these.
Well, I've only scanned over your book, but I mean, as I was saying, I cannot wait to read it because it's got all these graphs, all these documents, all the facts, really easy to follow. How things work, warning about food dyes, artificial, natural flavors. It's got a huge bibliography. I mean, you've really done yeoman's work here. Everyone should get The Food Babe, because here's the bottom line. The fact that they're coming out of the woodwork against you is because the system is striking back. But I'm here to tell the establishment something. The revolution of markets is here. People know how to vote with their dollars, their euros, their yens, their yans, their rubles, and they're not voting for your GMO poison food. And we have a right to eat the food we want. And so go ahead and try to destroy the food, babe. It'll only make her bigger. We've all got to stick together or hang separate. Stay with us.
We're on the march.